All right, bowl season is here. Moving on to Saturday night, the finale on December 17th. We got the Frisco Bowl. They're in North Texas. North Texas taking on Boise State. Still seeing the Broncos as a 10.5 point favorite in this spot, and a pretty high total as well at 59.5. Obviously, North Texas been in a weird few weeks for that program. They make the Conference USA Championship game. Don't put up a great effort against UTSA, who's just clearly a far superior team. Well, Seth Luttrell, their head coach, fired, done. So it's going to be Phil Bennett for the Mean Green as their interim coach. He actually has filled in this role before back at Pitt in 2010, coached their bowl game. Panthers were able to win that game back in 2010. So not a totally unfamiliar situation for Phil Bennett. He's a very experienced coach, defensive first guy. So I don't really worry as much about Seth Luttrell's absence in this spot. I will say, though, North Texas's defense is clearly the worst unit on the field here. We saw what happened against UTSA in the Conference USA title game, but even before that, I mean, they gave up 58 to UNLV, who is not a bowl team, 48 to SMU. UAB had their way when they played them. So this is not a good defense in really any regard. I wouldn't call Boise State an offensive first team. Far from it. It's not really how Andy Avalos is going to operate his program. But, the one thing that you can count on from Boise State, really good offensive line play. They protect Taylon Green very well. I don't really think they're all that talented at running back, yet they've been pretty effective because Broncos are very strong up front. I would expect that to translate very well in this matchup. With that said, Boise State and the way they operate, kind of a slower paced team, a run first team, even an efficient day for them might not be lighting up the scoreboard any more than 31, 35 points or something of that nature. North Texas offensively is the complete opposite. They are built on explosive plays. They rank, top 10 in the country in yards per play. Just look at their quarterback, Austin Aney. He's well under 60% completion, but 8.7 yards per attempt. This is a team that's going to be very aggressive in the passing game. A lot of low percentage passes, but Aney does have 32 touchdowns this year. I wouldn't say they're the most consistent in the run game, but a lot of explosive ability out of that Mean Green backfield. And, they too are pretty solid along their offensive line. No more than 2 sacks in any game this year. So, I actually like North Texas's offense. And, listen, Boise's defense is good. They stop the run really well. Their secondary has held up well most of the season. I wouldn't be all that surprised, though, if Aney does hit on some explosive plays, if Mean Green are able to, break off a few chunk runs. It's the way they're built.
Suffice to say, if I had to play this game, I'd probably play the over at 59.5. Like I said, Boise State should have a pretty good day offensively with what they have along their offensive line. Can't really trust North Texas to stop anybody, as we've seen in some of their tougher games this year. But, with teams like North Texas that are going to take shots, are built on explosive plays, even against pretty good defenses like Boise State. I could see them getting 27 in this game. I see this being more of a 38-27 kind of game. I don't really want to be on a side period. If I had to play this game, I'd probably stick with that over. I would like to see a little more pace from both sides to feel comfortable playing an above average total like this. At the end of the day, this did miss my card. I do have 3 other plays on Saturday, and this did not make it. But I do have a pretty strong lean towards the over here in the Frisco Bowl.